Okay. All right. Let's try now. Is it live now? Tell her to try it.
Okay.
I just got a message that it's live.
Okay. Fine. All right. So sorry for all of those who missed it. I was going through the history of what the Gemara daf today, which is 49. We're picking up two lines down on 48. So the story basically is, just the short of it, is that Yoav, who killed two people, well, he killed many more people. He was the, after all, military leader, but he killed Avner and he killed Amasa. And Avner had killed Asael. Asael was Yoav's brother. So now, Yoav ran to the Mizbeach, is claiming sanctuary. He says, no, I'm going to die here. And Shlomo was now king. Says to Bnei, okay, fine, kill him there. This is what it seems like. And he says, okay, by killing Yoav, pardon me, by killing Yoav, we'll atone for the blood of the innocent people that he killed, that Yoav killed. And whereas for David and his children, meaning Shlomo, there'll be peace. Then Bnei ben Yehuda kills him, and then he was buried in his house in the desert.
Yes.
Okay, and then Bnei took Yoav's position as a military leader. Fine. So that's what that is, and then we're going to see how the Gemara deals with all these psukim. We needed to do this. We'll see. So Mishlama Lamad Amar Nixay on the Melech, now 3 lines down on the Milchet on the bed on the wide lines. So if you're going to say that the king inherits, if you will, or I guess, expropriates is really the right word, the property of someone who rebelled against him, then we can it's a weird way of looking at this. That's why we can understand that Yoav went to the Ohel Hashem, to, literally Tefkah, basically the Mishkan, and he grabbed and he held on to the kahonot, the horns, literally, of the mizbeach. There's no way to say it. So no, I'm going to die here. So meaning why? Because I don't want the king to get my property. That's what they're saying, as opposed to, well, I don't want to die. So why? If the Yorshim are going to get it, why is he so insistent on staying there? So the obvious answer is the Chaysha. He wanted us, not die, right? So it has nothing to do with who gets his property. It could still be either case that Yorshim get it, or he just wanted to stay alive a little bit longer. Okay, let's go on. So, this is what Yoav said. This is what he answered me. Instead of just saying Yomer Yoav lo kipo amut, just 4 words, right? Lo kipo amut. It seems like there's a whole conversation. Now the Gemara is at least the Gemara is interpreting it to mean that there's this whole conversation, a backstory which was not in the psukim, and now we're going to deal with that whole backstory. Amarle zil amarle tarte. So this is what the backstory is. So Yoav said to Bnei, you can't do both things to me. So he says, listen, this was back. This was also part of the psukim, from the last time I did this stuff, that when David HaMelech had found out, what had happened, the Yoav had killed Avner, he gave him a whole bunch of curses. And the Gemara is going to talk about the curses in the, and then we're going to quote those psukim. So I didn't quote them, now. Maybe now, but we're going to go through it. So he says, listen, Yoav got cursed by David. And now Yoav is saying, either, let me be with my curses and alive, but don't kill me and have the curses, still in effect. One or the other. If you kill me, lift the curses. And if you keep the curses, and you can't kill me. It's not fair to do both. Meaning, because the curses weren't just on him. It was on him and, his family for all generations. So, so this is now back to Shlomo. So he says, okay, look, do as he says, and, kill him. So do as he says, yet again, but Pshat was just kill him there, as opposed to, the Yoav says, no, I'm not going to go, you got to kill me here, right? So, okay, kill him there. So no, so do as he says, meaning this whole backstory is now that I give him all these curses, fine. So I accept upon myself that either the curse is saying he lives, or he dies, but no curses. So he's like, okay, so I'll accept that. If I'm going to kill him, then means no curses. So that's what he means. So all the curses that David had cursed Yoav with, I guess potentially as a result of this, right? Now these curses were lifted from Yoav. Now they went back to David. So basically, boomerangs. Mm-hmm. So, and the Gemara is going to talk about that too. So here were the curses. This is what David had said at the time. Beit Yoav zav u'mitzorah u'machazik b'palach. Machazik b'palach. The way they translate this here is, then he needs, like people are, kind of be like limping or lame. They have to use a cane of some sort, support. Machazik b'palach. So, Benofel Bacherev, dies. I mean, literally by sword, but it could mean, war. It could mean war. Like Bachaser Lechem, and the last one is lacking bread. So so we're gonna see. It doesn't mean that this was for all generations. It doesn't mean it was all the same person this happened to. We'll go through Zab Chavam. So how do you know that this happened to one of the? If you in that, it doesn't have to be like a child directly of David, but a descendant of David. That happened. So King Rechavam, he made a ma'amatz, he made an effort to get onto the chariot to run away to Yerushalayim. Merkava. That's the word we're focusing on. So and any seated, something that's used to support the body's weight, and that the Zab is using, that becomes Tameh. So Merkava and Merkav. So that means, of course, that Rechavam was a Zab. Mitzorah, Muziyahu, this is, that's sort of reading into the pasuk. Mitzorah, Muziyahu, this is explicit. So the king, Uziyahu, was actually, he offered the Ketorah. Now, of course, he's not allowed to do that. The Kohanim can do that, right? Mm-hmm. And the pasuk says this. Then right away, so he's punished with tzara. So that's explicit.
Isn't that a minor offense? Isn't a non-Kohen doing the avodah
a big offense? Yeah. I know. I never really quite understood that. I don't know how to answer that. I had that same problem. So so he got tzarat, but it could also be that, like, in other words, what is the punishment? Could either be, I think, like, the Gemara's talk about, like, the Pirchei Kumuna, or somebody, like, they get him there, or it's like maybe karet, but like karet is not necessarily, it's not like God strikes you down right away. Right. So this is like maybe the answer would be that this is like, a public sign of God's displeasure manifesting itself immediately. Like he's not gonna get away with this at all, not even for a moment. So that could be what it's about. So meaning, like, he still could have gotten punished some sort of divine calculation, but this is an immediate punishment right away.
I think it's the story he was warned, right? I
don't remember the rest of the story, but so he got tzarat. So this is one of the, so that's one of them, right? So we went through Zav and now Mitzorah. Machazik Rapelech, so needing support from a cane or whatever it was. So when he got old, his legs were ill. Meaning, so he obviously couldn't walk too well. Rabbi Huda Amarav Shachazo Pudgara. So he had Pudgara, which here they translate as gout. So Amalei Marzuta Rabbi Rav Nachman. So Marzuta, the son of Rav Nachman, asked his father, Rav Nachman, Echidami, what, he didn't know what gout is. Amalei, and if you haven't experienced it, it's kind of hard to know what it really is. So he's like, Amalei Kamachat Bebasar Achai. It's like a needle, and it's like your flesh is being pierced by a needle. So Yada, how did he know? He had it. Okay. He learned. So that's what for his Rav in Yeshiva. They were discussing that one day, and they were discussing, and then he said, "This is what it feels like." Sometimes you see that. We told over the end. You God's secret to those that fear Him. In other words, things that you get revealed somehow to those who are close to God. And that's sort of like sometimes you see this in, like yeshiva writings, like, if you question, like, the ruling of a, someone who you view as superior to you, but you're questioning it, meaning you don't really agree with them, you're like, how do you know this? They must be sort of reality. They must have some, like, secret way of knowing this is the truth. Anyway, so, he was, like, pierced by all these arrows. Yeah, and then, so it doesn't mean sword, literally. You know, I mean, dying in battle. You know, that's Cherev is like the catch-all phrase for that. Like, you know, his body is like a sieve, you know, lots of holes. Like, you know, there's shlosh mot chitzim or something like that, right? So he really got pierced by a lot of arrows. V'chasar lechem, to the end of that, v'chasar lechem, laki perfu mechoniyah, dichtiv, aruchoto, ruchatami, nitna lo. So mechoniyah, Rashi, there's a mistake in Rashi. It wasn't, so Nebuchadnezzar captured Yechoniah and imprisoned him, but then Nebuchadnezzar's son, I think it was Evo Morodach, right? So freed him and then provided for him. So
this sounds like it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
The captive kings often were treated pretty well.
So what they're reading into this is that, and he had it like lechem the rest of his life, actually. So what the Gemara is reading into this is, okay, so El Morodach gave him food, but when he was with the Nebuchadnezzar, he didn't have any food, so that's chasar lechem. So basically, the point was that, and this is kind of summarizing it, the army inches, this fact that all this happened to David's progeny is what people say, Tehei luta, lo tehei lata, better to be cursed than to be the curser. Why? Because, you know, David put all these curses, execrations on Yoav, and what happened? Right? The boomerang down to David. But then, you know, but that was because of what Yoav said. You know, you gotta like either keep me with my curses alive or kill me, but you know, the curses. So Shlomo said, all right, fine, right? This again didn't necessarily mean that, you know, all curses have to go back to you, but sort of what goes around comes around, right? So that's what. No, back get to the Yoav story. Asiyol Yoav Dayane. So again, remember there's this whole conversation with Yoav and the whole conversation. It seems again, according to the Gemara, it's a whole conversation, but according to the Psukim, it was very quick. You know, Benyahu says to Yoav, you know, your game's up. Yoav says like, I'm not leaving here. You know, he said his 4 words, and then goes back to the king, and you know, king sends him and kills him, right? So, but again, and it sounds like, you know, Yoav's still, you know, clinging there. You know, you don't know how long it took for him to go back to the king, and how long it took the king to send it back. But Yoav, you know, the vision you get in your mind by reading the Psukim is that Yoav's still clinging desperately to the corners of his veil, right? So, but you know, what did we read recently? In the parsha, right? And then what do we have? Shoftim v'Shoftim. So who is in the general area of the Mizbeach? And what Masechet are we doing? Sanhedrin, right? So the Batei Din are by the Mizbeach. So we're taking it to mean that, you know, ruin the surprise in the next two words, you know, that of course he didn't kill him in cold blood and have his blood, you know, like spill on the Mizbeach. Rather, he brought him to the Sanhedrin, who are by the Mizbeach, and there's a whole, you know, they went through due process. Not like, you know, it's not like this is vigilante killing. The impression you get clearly is that it's a vigilante killing almost. I mean, by the king, you know, but there's extrajudicial, should I say, not vigilante, extrajudicial.
The king has that right.
The king has that right. So, that's clearly the impression, you know, that's what it sounds like. But no, here they're saying as if there's this whole court case, right? So now we're going to go through it. So also the Yoav Dayanim. So they brought him to be judged, and of course, bring him to be judged. It's not like in front of the king to be judged. It's in front of the Sanhedrin, and the Sanhedrin are by the Mizbeach. So Amarle or Amule. So Benyahu, I guess he's on the Sanhedrin, or just he's, you know, this discussion is taking place around the Sanhedrin, or it should be Amarle's and the Sanhedrin, the judges said. So they're asking Yoav, why did you kill Abner? I was the Goel Adam for my brother. Right? Remember I said that there are a couple of brothers. You know, Yoav was Asael's brother, and Abner killed Asael, was running after him. That was that whole thing. That's why David had to make his big protestation that he had nothing to do with this. So I'm a Goel Adam. So of course I killed him, right? You know, Goel Adam is maybe even a chiyuv, not a chiyuv, but you know, mitzvah, right? According to some, it was like, you know, it was a whole. We had 3 opinions, right? It was mitzvah asur, or you know, or like so. I'm the Goel Adam. I'll defend his death. So then the answer to this is, and this is the whole conversation that they're having. this was self-defense, right? What do you mean? Like, in other words, I'm gonna go all the time. But like, Azel was trying to kill Avner. So what could Avner have done? You're the goal of Dam. I mean, like, if Avner had done nothing, he would have been killed. So of course, this is justified. What is it? Like justified homicide, right? So you're not what goal of Dam. Something like goal of Dam is like you kill somebody in cold blood, right? Or like or the Ari Miklat, that kind of thing, right? But this is like he's saving his own life. So then the answer to that is, and then Yoav now answers to Benayahu, okay, fine, okay, but if the halacha is for that, like, why do you have to kill him? Why can't you just like maim him or something? Temporarily incapacitate him. Why do you have to kill him? So I'm like, no, he couldn't. Like this was he was running away. What else could he have done? Like, he didn't have the opportunity to to be so calculated. I'm like, of course not. No, he aimed very precisely. He managed to get him in the fifth rib. Just a pasuk. So he managed to like take the back end of his spear or whatever, however you pronounce whatever chanit is. I think it's a spear. So yeah. So he got into the chomesh. What is the chomesh? The fifth rib. So like vital organs are there, like the liver. So he knew what he was doing. He aimed very precisely. You're saying he couldn't, be matzil b'chamei varav? Of course he could have. Which case then he could have and he didn't, which means then he really didn't need to kill him, and therefore I'm avenging his blood, right? So he's saying that he has a justified excuse now for getting him back for that, right? So really, like he bested him in this time, right? So okay, so all right, so Benayal was like, all right, you got me there. But Amarle Nizel Avner. All right, fine. Let's that one go. But my time I got to the Amasa. You still kill Amasa. So Amarle Amasa Amasa was rebelling against the king. Yeah, they have a right to kill him. I should have killed him. So and the funny thing is, like, they have this pasuk. There's a much better pasuk to have quoted, but let's just go with this for the moment. The Gemara, it was explicitly he's a more b'malchut, but this is what they go for. So the king said, so you got to get together for me the men of Yehuda within 3 days. So I'm giving you, it takes a while to get people together, so I'm giving you 3 days to do that.
That's pretty fast mobilization.
Yeah. But Vayocher. He did, but he took a little bit longer, more than the 3 days. So, okay, so it took longer than 3 days. Of course, he's rebelling against the king. It's very, very strange. It was a justified delay. How so? In other words, what would be a justified delay? Because all the people were learning Torah, so he didn't want to interrupt their Torah learning. That's why it took longer than 3 days. So Amar and he's going back. So anyone, and this is also another interesting thing. He's learning this from Yeshua. So did you say Yeshua was like the king, right?
Yeah.
So in the very beginning, when Moshe died, this is the very beginning of Yeshua. There's this whole back and forth, and anyone who, you gotta be strong, and anyone who doesn't listen to you, will die. So we're basically the nation is saying we're backing you, Yeshua, fully. So okay, so anyone who doesn't listen to you will die. But even if it involves divrei Torah, could you say they have to die? So rak, and usually a rak and an ach, there's a mute. So what do they learn from that? That since they were learning Torah, so Amasa said, okay, I'm gonna wait a little, let them finish their their mishmar, right? So he waited. So
this justifies the refusal of the Haredim in Israel to serve in the army.
Apparently.
We're still trying to prove that he was more of a malchut.
In other words, remember, so Yoav was trying to kill, Benayal was trying to kill off Yoav. Yoav killed off 2 guys. One was Yoav, one was Avner. He's like, okay, yeah, that was unjustified. But then Avner, was back and forth, said no, it was very justified, right? Yoav said it was very justified. Okay, he's like, all right, but you killed somebody else. He's like, what do you mean, Asa? I had a right to kill Asa. Asa was a Mored b'malchut. He didn't get the guys in 3 days. Now you are saying no, it wasn't Mored b'malchut. He justified. He was justified in waiting to take longer than 3 days because they're learning Torah. They didn't want to interrupt them. So Sanhedrin says, Yoav, no, you're the Mored b'malchut. Who got the Mored b'malchut? Which is what I started with, right? The Yoav is backing one of the other people for king. Remember, Shlomo's king at this time, and if he's backing one of the other brothers, that's Mored b'malchut. So you are the Mored b'malchut, and you need to be killed. So basically, the idea is, it didn't say whether they bought this argument or not, but that of him being justified or not for killing the second guy, Amasa. But anyway, no matter what, he was a Mored b'malchut, Yoav, so he deserved to be killed for that. And then they said that he, so the Gemara is going to be darish in this pasuk that he turned after Adoniah but not after Avshalom. Ma'ilo nata. Why do you have to say that? If he's backing one, he's not backing the other, right? You could have said that he backed Adoniah. So what's with that? So he says, "Ma'ilo nata, Rabbi Yehuda should be patient." He wanted to, but he didn't. My time alone, Rabbi Elazar, which is interesting. Like the moisture of David was around, meaning like the vestiges of David's power were still around, and he felt scared backing at that point. Anyone else? Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina Amar, what does that mean? Which is a very interesting word. Usually when you think of these stagninim, you think of like the sorcerers of like Paro's court, So what the Gemara here takes it to mean is Remember I said that this is like in some ways a continuation of that daf I taught, and this was from that daf. Mm-hmm. That there are 400. You had 400 children. Remember that? They're all like children of from war, from the captives. So there were 400. So and they were like these big, strong, burly guys, and they had like this lorit, which was like that braid, which is a thing of Avodah Zarah. And over there we dealt with how were they able to do that? And I think what we said over there was, if you're potentially covered with malchut, there are dispensations for war, things like that. But not, so they were at the head of the the armies, and they instilled fear.
They were his janissaries.
His what?
His janissaries.
Yes.
The non-Jewish women who they had the children with produced these great looking.
Yeah. So that's who they were.
18 wives and 10 concubines.
But again, these are b'nei Fator. But that was the question. Also, are you allowed to, be with this? I'm sorry.
Not all the 18.
Right. So meaning like if you're right. So meaning like Fator counts as a it could be and that was that machloket. Are you allowed to be with this Fator once and then go through the whole ritual? We just read this in Kitese, right? Are you allowed to be with her once and then you go through the ritual to continue, or are you not even allowed to be with her at all and have sex with her until you go through the whole ritual? So that was the question. So anyway, it is a little bit difficult to reconcile all this. But so one say the Shel David was that these were these itzadninim, meaning again, it's a strange word, but like it's these people. That's the Lachlut Shel David. Like he still had these 400, strong guys, and Yoav didn't want to rumble with them. So that was what I mean by Lichlit, meaning like lo katayna lo nas lecholas. Like Moshe, his throat never got dry. So it basically means that he's still like has a certain sense of vitality. So that's what that means. David's vitality or vigor, was still around, and he didn't want to contend with that. So Rabbi Abba Bakahana David lo asa Yoav milchama Yoav asak David b'Torah. So this is different, by saying that he always had wanted to rebel because they weren't at the same time, Adoniah and Avshalom necessarily. So here this is saying that Yoav had always wanted to go away from David, he just couldn't because he was too scared. So this is not going according to that opinion that says that David and Yoav had a really good partnership, and they really helped each other out. That one helped the other learn Torah. That David was able to learn Torah because he's such a capable general in Yoav, and the other way around too. That And David's Torah zechut helped Yoav in all the wars. David was doing mishpat and tzedakah, and Yoav was on the tzava. And of course, how do you do mishpat and tzedakah? By learning Torah, right? So, Matan David asa mishpat and tzedakah l'chomo because Yoav al tzava. Matan Yoav al tzava. Why was he so successful in his military endeavors? Mishum that David said mishpat and tzedakah l'chomo. Okay, so which means that they had a nice partnership and liked it. So Yoav was not, according to this opinion, always trying to break away from it. But going back to this, this getting back to how what Yoav did. You remember, it's according to the Psukim, Yoav draws Avner aside, and and it says, and in there it says that we didn't know. Yashav Avner, this is not in there, but Yashav Avner Chevron Yoav Toch Hashar, they've already told Basheli, and the Gemara is going to talk about that. So so Sheli means secret matters. I have secret matters to tell you. Yoav draws them aside, says, listen, let's talk privately here. Like right? So then Yoav, gets him the fifth rib, like we were explaining, and kills him to avenge his brother Asael, right? And that's what that whole conversation we're just backfilling. He killed my brother, and I'm gonna go Hadam. Anyway, getting back to that. My bor sira. What's this bor sira? I'm Rabbi bor bisira gamul avner sheye hareg. So the bor and the sira, these two things were Avner's downfall. Bor bisira. What is that? Rashi explains. Let's read Rashi. Bor. It's like right across from this Gemara. Bor tzapachat amayim shlachach David mirchutav Shaul yashim b'ma'agal. So there were a couple of times, Shaul had it in for David and always wanted to kill him. And so David was always trying to show him how faithful he was, and he's not trying to rebel against him. So there was one, the Rashi going through it 2 times in Navi, that David proved that, I could have gotten you and I didn't. One was there was this, God had made everyone sleep, and there was this bowl of water, right? So which was right by Shaul's body, his head. And he took the bowl of water, and he's like, guess what? And then he was like, no, and the Yoav every time was telling him, it could have been. Avner was telling him every time that, maybe whatever. David didn't have this real chance. Maybe someone gave it to him. Maybe this, maybe that. So we're going through that now in the Rashi. Shamar lehem David b'nei mavadatem shel shamartem et alonechem. David saying, listen, you guys, you soldiers, you bodyguards of Shaul, you guys are derelict in your duties. You deserve to be put to death because you didn't watch Shaul well enough. Shakar yiti chol argo. I could have killed him. I have his spear, and in his water bowl. So Avner should have said, I should have said, yeah, David's a good guy. He really could have. Instead, what did he say? Maybe one of you got it somehow. You bribed somebody. That was the bor. Bisira, and the sira is a thorn. So is a kotz. Now Rashi explains. Next Rashi. That's the other time. He cut off a corner of Shaul's cloak with his sword. So the same thing as before. He should have said, "You're right. David is a good guy. Could have killed you. Look how much he loves you. Stop this. Running after David to kill him, but he didn't. So David was hiding amongst the thorn bushes. You were walking by, a thorn, snagged your garment. A part of it got over there. David took it. He didn't. It's not like he came to you and could have killed you while you were asleep and didn't. Right. So anyway, so these two things were Avner's downfall. Now remember, again, getting back to the Gemara I gave at the time. What did we say? What did we say at the time there? We went through this whole thing about what was his downfall, and we said Micha below Micha, right? Could he have he said, was David giving was David bemoaning the fact, or was he saying no, you should have, with no, remember that, no v'yar kohanim. Right, that according to the Gemara there, that potentially could have been his downfall. That he didn't protest against the killing of Novi or Kohanim. Right. Was he saying that you didn't? That was your downfall. You should have protested and you didn't, right? And that's why or was it like when you're saying, oh, you did protest, and even then, look what happened to you. That was a debate in the Gemara we had earlier in Sanhedrin. But they're not bringing that here now. They're saying about these two things causes downfall. Interesting, So different Gemara say different things.
There's a phrase, I don't know if you remember, when they're talking about the destruction of the temple, right? It says because of a I can't remember, a wheel and this whole. You know what I'm saying? It's a similar kind of phraseology here. They speak of two things that caused the destruction, and here they're talking about the pit and the thorn.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Not 100%, but maybe if you showed it to me, I might
have to find it.
Okay, so anyway, so that's what they're saying these two things are, just those two words. I'll go back to the Gemara. So he brings him aside to talk to him Basheli. What is that? Again, it means Shelley, these, he whispered to him, like these state secrets or whatever it is. That's what really pshat is. So again, of course, everything is not being done extrajudicially. They brought him here it's not that he actually brought him to the Sanhedrin, because that we can't say. Because you all just killed him, and this wasn't the Sanhedrin, but he went through some sort of like due process. So he says, "Amalei, my time." Of course, there's a whole conversation. Amalei, my time. So why did you kill Asael? So the answer is sort of what we had before, right? This is Yoav and Avner before it's Benyahu and Yoav, right? So this is this is going back to the past a little. My time, why did he kill Asael? Because Asael wrote it for you. So Asael was, running after me. So it's like, you should have killed him off. You should have just, somehow disabled him. So no, I couldn't. So what do you mean? You got him precisely in the fifth rib too, right? You hear the theme is what goes around comes around, right? Because Yoav killed Avner in the fifth rib, just like Avner killed Asael in the fifth rib. And then, and David cursed Yoav, and then what happened? It ended up back boomeranging and getting, and happening according to the Gemara to the children of David. So it's this whole like cycle over here. So then anyway, so therefore he killed him. So it's like, that's not true. You didn't, you could have disabled him, and you choose not to. So you killed him in the fifth rib, therefore I'm killing you, right? And but according to the Gemara though, like that, that was true. So now Yoav is now Goel Hadam, right? Of Asael. So now couldn't get Yoav on that count. That's why you had to get him on another account, either because of Amasa or more of Malchut, anyway, one or the other. Now getting back to that, Leroy told Basheli, what was that about? Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav, al Iske, not Sheli, extend the Yud as a Vav, and not Shelo. Al Iske Shalu. And what do you see from Shalu? Shalu, right? God says to Moshe, take away remove your feet. So now what is that about? So look at Rashi. So let's say we're supposed to do the Yavama. Let's say there's a chalitza, right? So you're supposed to remove the shoe, right? Well, let's say she has no arms. How are you supposed to remove the shoe? So he's like, oh, okay, so he's like, contorting himself. This is how you do it. You take your teeth. She takes her teeth, and she does it this way. So while he was, of course, dealing with a halachic thing, because of course, everyone's a big Talmid Chacham in these things, and of course they're learning Torah. So and he was busy, thinking about how to show him. Then he kills him. That's how he managed to get him. I mean, basically the idea also is like, look, this guy is is a pretty competent military man. How did he manage to get him so off guard? So so he distracted him basically with Torah. So anyway, but like the whole, but he said, but what we're trying to say is that this, but there was a whole, according to the Gemara, there's a whole conversation now. He's like, you should do this, that, the other. I'm justified killing you, so on. It wasn't like vigilantism, 100%. Even though really someone was. So okay. Like I said before, he got him in the fifth rib, which is very fatal. Like we said, that Shlomo was saying that this Yoav has to be killed because he killed two people who were better than him. We read that, in the beginning. So how were they better? Shayu dorshin akim barakim v'lo darash. So they were darshan all these akim barakim in the Torah, and he didn't. What do we mean by that? So again, Rashi, third wide line. Torah. Amasa Kedaminan. Avner Shamar Shaul Avadav Sobu Vaymitzu Konei Hashem V'Gomer Rechtiv Lovu Avdei Shaul L'Shloach Yadam V'Kolba. So Amasa, what is this? Amasa is like he was darshan this ak and rak, meaning not to get the people within the 3 days because they're too busy learning Torah, right? So these guys, they were darshan the ak and the rak. And then what was Yoav? Avner was what? So this is that whole question we had before about Noah. Did he protest against Noah or not, right? So the Gemara wasn't so sure, whether he protested. According to this opinion, he did. So look, they knew how to stand up, right? If the king had an unjustified command, so you should have stood up. You should have also.
Just following orders.
Right. That's not a good argument, right? So that's what he's saying. He didn't darshan. What did he not darshan? The famous story of Uriah b'tzotzol shel David, right? That Uriah Hittite was killed, by the king's command, and here Yoav was instrumental in that. And we're going to continue with that. So they're darshan the ark and rock. So they were told explicitly by the king to carry out these commands, and they didn't. But Yoav, he was sent a letter by the king. David didn't actually command it explicitly, to his mouth. He sent the letter doing it, and and he could have. It's much easier to obey a letter than a direct command from the king. So he should have disobeyed it, and especially if it was done by a letter, but he didn't. So they're better than you. Okay. He didn't. Amasa did not, watch out, but to protect himself against his, military accoutrements. The Yoav had Amarav Shalo Chashado. He didn't even suspect anything. Because everybody told about Midbar, so that was the end of that. He was buried in his house in the desert. Atu Beito Midbar. Who has a house in the desert, right? Amarav Yehuda Amarav Kemidbar. Not his house was in the desert, but his house was like a desert. Ma Midbar Mufkar Lako. Just like Midbar is free and open to anybody. Like anyone can come in, and he was basically very generous with his money. He supported the poor. No sin is in the midbar. There's no stealing. There's no licentiousness. So despite the fact we're saying how bad he was, but he was also pretty good. So Yoav brought life to the city. So all the delicacies that he had, he used to give out. All right, let's turn the daf and
that's specifically referring to Jerusalem.
So we have a few minutes. This will go quickly. The Amabet. We'll do what we can. So remember we just talked before about skila. So our mitot needs to be the beitin. Skila strefa hereg v'chenek for mitot. So
I think they would have said this earlier.
Yeah, for stoning, burning. Again, we're not going to talk about them all now, but this is a catch-all introduction. Hereg is beheading, chenek is strangulation. So he switches it a little bit. Strefa skila, chenek and hereg. Right? He switches the order. Zumi tzartan niskala. What we talked about before was the stoning thing. We said that before. You take them up, you push them off, that whole thing. Okay. Amar Hud Amar Rav Skora Amar Rav Huna Kamakom Shem Nuchamin Derech Mininan Ein Mutam Muchar Chutz Mishiva Samamin. So here we have a list. These four. So oftentimes when we have a list, they're not in any particular order. Sometimes they are. One of them is this case. To see if something is like actually damnida, you put in. You rub it with these 7 cleaning agents, and if it still stays or it doesn't turn a certain color, whatever, then it's damnida. And these are those. We're not getting into them specifically. Rok, tafel, saliva, migrisin, chewed beans, meraglaim is urine, netter is and borit, kumula, ashlach. All these things not important right now what they are. So again, we said most of the time the list is in no particular order, but in this case it is. We went out of order.
Then actually identifies these real cleaning.
I know. I would tell you what it was, but I don't want to be too far behind. So if you did it in the wrong order, no good. So that list is very specific. This is another case. Our Mishnah. These 4 are in a specific order. How do we know? Because Maflik Rav Shimon is coming out the Dafka time. Because Rav Shimon is saying, it's a different order. So obviously the Tanakama, who had it in his order, was very specific. It needs to be this order. Okay, so remember, Skora said he only listed the 7 things for the Damnida. Why didn't he list our Mishnah? Because it's a machlokas, obviously, it goes without saying. He's talking about something where there's just a list and no one's disagreeing. So, Rav Papa Amar, another, although we said these are the exceptions, there are more. Asir Yoma, Gitnan, Goma say Yom Kippur, we're in Al Seder. Everything in regarding Yom Kippur has to be in that order. It has to be that order. So he adds the Yom Kippur Seder. So why did Rav Skora add that? So meaning, yes, it's not because the Seder, it's not so much in the Seder, but it's because of Yom Kippur, right? So it's a slight distinction. It's not the Seder that's important, but it's the Itumo Shel Yom that's important, which demands the Seder. So take it or leave it. Another addition. Rav Huna Reder Rabbi Shua Amar Af Seder Tamid. Tekatani Allah Zehu Seder Tamid. Talking about the Korban Tamid has to be done a certain way. And it mentions that's the Seder Tamid. So why was this not on that list? That's actually what he's saying is, as a matter of fact, I mean, obviously you have to shecht it before putting the limbs on the altar. But other than that, put this limb or that limb, first on the altar. That makes no difference. So he actually disagreed. He said that the Seder Tamid is not so precise. It's a preference, but it's not ma'akev. Ulafuke means what chalitza, and again, some of these other lists are taking out. It's not including mitzvah chalitza. The Tanah mitzvah chalitza bahuvi tov and beitin. So the 2 people involved in this, the person who's supposed to get yibum and the one who's the yavam, the guy who's supposed to be doing it. If they don't want to do it, they both go to the beitin. So the court gives him advice appropriate to him, which basically means listen, let's say she's too not fit for him. Let's say he's old. She's young. It's not fair. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do yibum. So those kind of things, or the other way around. One's old for the other. Anyway, stuff like that. Okay, so then they assess the situation, give the appropriate advice, and Mark is going to talk to him. So what do they talk to him about? That, and then she says, anyway, me like my mate. So he doesn't want to do it. And then Loya Bobby have me. If you used to do this, and he says, no, I don't want to marry her. And they have to say this all in Hebrew. Then so she has to then take the shoe off, and she has to spit in front of him. It has to be visible spit. This is what will be done. She says this, meaning this whole process. And then his name will be known in Israel as the house of the removed shoe. So okay, so there's a whole order here. So all these psukim, she reads, he reads, she does the chalitza, the spitting, and then she says this pasuk. So we know that. We need him to tell us that this is the order. The psukim go through it. The Mishnah goes through it. Meaning, and this is why it's not on the list. Yes, the psukim say it. The Mishnah says it. But there wasn't on the list of things that have to be in a particular order, because if you change the order, no biggie, no problem. I mean, the mitzvah is to do it that way, but you can change the order. That's why I didn't make the list of things that have to be dafka in that order. If you do one, the rikika or the chalitza, one before the other, or it's good. So it doesn't have to be the ikuva. It's not the ikuva. Just a few more lines, and then we're done. And this will exclude. Gadol has 8 garments. And a Kohen Hedor has 4. What are they? That's what the Torah says, actually, in that order.
Yeah.
The ketonet, like that long robe. Michasayim are like the shorts. Mitznefet is that hat. Avnei is the belt. Most people in Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol, other things, choshen, efo, me'il, and tzitz. There's those other. The Tana, so basically, it doesn't make so much difference of what order you put them on. Obviously, you have to put the Mechasayim first. I mean, in some ways it does. I mean, you can't put the outer garments on before the other ones. But you can put, let's say, the ephod before the tzitz or whatever it is, or the tzitz before the ephod, that kind of stuff. So if it doesn't make a difference, or rather, why did the Tana say ketonet for the Miknasayim? Obviously, you have to put on the underwear before the the thing over it. Mishum Dr. Mikra, but because the Torah mentions it first. Mikra Mike Tama Atame. So really you have to put on the Miknasayim for the ketona. Why did the Torah mention it first? They want to say Kula Mishum Michasia Kula Gufa Adifale. Because the ketona covers the whole body, so they wanted to mention that as opposed to Miknasayim. But as opposed to those two, which can which have to be in a specific order, the rest of the stuff doesn't have to be in a particular order according to that Tana that didn't include it on that list. And we were done for today.
That's your call. See, the halakhic fast sections are much easier.
Yes. Well, also because I try to give a background.
Huh? Oh.